Hello and welcome back to the Trisha's Excel class. My name is Trisha Jaktiani and today I will take you through some important date functions in Excel. Let's see what are those. So they are all listed here. The first one on the list is the year function. Let's see how does that work. The year function is used to extract the year from a particular date. So for example, I have some dates listed here and I want to extract the year from the first date. So what I'll do is I'll use the year function in the cell, open the parenthesis and select the date from which I need to extract the year. Close the bracket and here I get the year of from that date. Similarly, the month function will give you or extract the month from the date. So again, the same way, I'll select the date, close the parenthesis, and this time it is giving me the month from that date. And then the last one that we have in this one is the day function, which will give me which day does this date fall on. So this is not the weekday, but this is actually your day, which is the 4th day of September of 2019. This is what it means. Now that we have extracted the year, month, and day, let's see how to combine this date into one cell. So there is another function called as the date function. When you open the parenthesis, you will see that the syntax asks you for year, month, and day. In this case, I can select the year, month, and day and get the date from the list. So I am selecting the year from this cell, and then I have the month from the next cell, and then I have the date from the third cell. Close the bracket. Here I get back the same date that I was looking for. It is combined into one cell and giving you the date as per the information that you have entered. So let's move on to the next, a little advance on the date function, which is called as your network days. What is the use of a network days? The network days function calculates the difference between two dates, excluding weekend dates, that's Saturdays and Sundays. So let's see in our example, I have the start date and the end date. What is the start date and the end date? Let's say you are working on a project, or you are going to start working on a project today, and you have been notified that the due date for the project is 20th of September. So I need to identify how many days do I have in hand to work on this project. However, if I just try to count the number of days in between, it will also include the Saturdays and the Sundays, but I don't work on the weekends, and hence I'll have to exclude Saturdays and Sundays in order to get the number of days between these two days. So I'll use the network days because that will exclude the holidays and the weekends. Let's start with the network days, where it says I have to enter the start date. So I select the start date, comma, then I select the end date. And then you will see that after a comma, it is also asking you for the holidays. However, the holidays is shown in the square bracket. Now let's see what does that square bracket mean. If you see the holidays, it is showing something like this. Now when you see a square bracket in any function, it is understood that this function or this argument in the function is optional. That means if you don't give this argument in this function, it will still give you an answer. So then in this case, your holidays is optional. You just need to enter the other two information, which is the start date and the end date, which are mandatory. So I enter the start date, comma, I enter the end date and close the bracket this time without entering the holidays. I will see that Excel is displaying 13 days available with me to complete this project, that is between these two dates. Now that we have not selecting the holidays in this, I realize that there are two holidays in between these two dates, which is the 5th of September and 9th of September. So then I enter the two dates as holidays in two different cells, and after entering the end date, I put a comma, and this time I'll select the holidays by selecting these two cells and close the bracket. Here I see the result excluding the weekends as well as the holiday dates. So then there are 11 days available with me to complete this project. Moving on to the next function, say I have been working on the weekends, but my holiday date is only Sunday. I don't work on Saturdays. In that case, it is very difficult to use network days because network days exclude the Saturdays as well. So then there is another function, something called as a Network Days International, which allows you to select your weekend or rather customize it. So how do you do that? Let's see the Network Days International syntax. The syntax in the Network Days International is again start date. So I select the start date, then the end date. Again, I select the end date. Here it is allowing me to select the weekend. So like I said, I'm only working on a Sunday. So I'll select Sunday only as my weekend. Then select the holiday list from this list and then close the bracket. Here I can see that they have removed the Saturday or included the Saturday in the date difference that it has to calculate, and it is giving me the result as 13 as compared to 11 in the network days. So this is how your network days function or network days international function can be useful when you're working in Excel. So the Edate function helps to add a specified number of months to a date and returns the result as the next date. So let's see, for example, as of now, in the start date or the project start date was 4th of September 2019. However, I was told that you have to complete this project in the next 2 months. I was not given the end date. So then I have to identify when is that 2 months getting over. In that case, I will use the edate function and then use the start date from the cell, and then after putting a comma, I'll have to enter the number of months when I have in hand, or when I need the, after the 2 months, what is the new date. If I want to identify, I'll enter the number of months that I want to add to this date. So which is 2 months. So I'll enter 2 and close the bracket. I can see it is showing me 4th of November. That is after the 2 months. This is how your edate function works. Moving on to the next function on the list, which is the EOMonth. How does the EOMonth function work? So similar to the edate function, EOMonth also adds the number of months to a given date. However, while in edate, the Excel gives the result as the exact date after the 2 months, EOMonth calculates the last day of the month after adding a specified number of months to that date. So let's see how that works. So I open the EOMonth, open the bracket, and then it's asking for the start date. So I enter the start date. Again, I'll take it as 2 months. In edate, it will give me 4th November. But in EOMonth, it will give me the last date of that particular month. In our case, it is 30th of November. So this is how your edate and the EOMonth works. Let's move on to the last function on the list, which is the text function. Let's see how does the text function work and what is the use of this function in the date. It's very useful with the date because you can change the format of the date using the text function. So one of the examples I'll give is, say I have identified that by using EOMonth that the last date of that month is 30th of November. So I know that by now I have to complete the project by 30th of November. But I need to identify if 30th of November is falling on a weekend. For that, I'll have to see the calendar to check if this is correct or which day it is on. So rather, I can use a text function to identify whether it is a weekday or a weekend. How can I do that? So I open the text, I enter the text function, open the bracket, select the date for which I want to identify the weekday name, and then after the comma, I'll select the format. The format will have to be entered in the double inverted commas, and in the format I will enter the format in which I want. So I cannot enter DD. If I enter DD, it will give me the date, which is 30. I'll either enter DDD, which then it will be able to give me which weekday it is falling under. So I will enter DDD and then close the inverted commas and close the bracket. Now you notice that I entered the inverted commas in order to add the format. Why did I do that? Because this is a string and Excel doesn't understand this string in any function. So I'll have to enter it in the inverted commas. Once done, I'll close the bracket and enter. Yes, it falls on a weekend. You see this? So it falls on a Saturday, so I cannot complete it on 30th of November or 1st of December. This will go to 2nd of December. So this is how it is so easy to identify which day does this date fall on. Hope you found this useful. Stay tuned for more such formulas. And if you like this video, please click on the like button, subscribe to my channel as well to keep watching these kind of videos and getting notification. Also click on the bell icon. Do not forget to do that so that you keep getting notifications for any videos that is added, and you will get all the useful information from these videos. Last but not least, please add any function or formula that you want to see in the upcoming videos in the comments column. You can also ask questions that you have or any other requirement that you have. You can post it on the comments column and I will reply to it as soon as possible, or as soon as I see it for that matter. So thank you very much for watching, and bye-bye.